codes penetrating him.
Put the plug in your pocket. You can just fire it right up.
I wonder if it goes into sleep mode after a certain length of time.
Probably you just hit the button and it'll fire it there.
I never waited that long to see. Why not tonight?
I'm gonna guess no because it's a Saber 4.
Yeah.
You guys hear about Star Wars World coming to Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. 2017, right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear dates.
It's gonna be Disney's
I don't know
biggest
how
expansion.
they're not starting until 2017 or something
Something
like that.
I didn't hear about dates. I just heard that was happening. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to Disney in my Jedi outfit.
Welcome to Saber Talk, everybody. It's Saber time, and I'm here again with Gabe and Harris.
Yo, what's up?
What up?
I'm SpaceWindu from the FX Saber forums and the IRA, and we are today talking about sabers again. So we're always going to talk about sabers, and that's like custom sabers or anything in the Star Wars world related to sabers. I was excited to see this week there was the new sort of poster that everyone got at that event that had John Boyega holding the blue lightsaber.
The Luke. The Luke Graflex.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The Luke Graflex.
That was awesome.
It's cool seeing like all the gear that they're doing in the new movie. Like, you know, everyone has new clothes and certain jackets and like different things that they're carrying and stuff like that. So today I thought we'd talk about like Jedi carry, like what you're gonna carry, like everyday carry for Jedi.
Belt?
So I don't know. Let's talk about that a bit. Like what
Awesome.
you guys might carry in the Star Wars world, not necessarily in this world, but you can make up anything you want. You can have laser guns and obviously lightsabers and, you know, hoverboards or whatever, like whatever you guys want.
Wrong genre.
Yeah.
Hoverboards. No
But
hoverboards in Star Wars.
They probably can accomplish that because they have
I'm sure they
flying
could.
ships. So
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome.
Gabe, you want to start like with what your everyday carry might be as either a Jedi or Sith, or even if you're not. Well, I'm assuming since you're on a lightsaber show right now that you would be a Jedi or Sith.
Jedi, definitely Jedi.
Definitely somebody with a lightsaber.
Yeah, so as long as I have a lightsaber, I'll be okay. Not Jedi. I'll be honest with you, I haven't given it much thought other than obviously lightsaber, and maybe
Like
a staff
four?
saber.
Oh my god.
Just overkill with sabers because we were obsessed with sabers. Now I'm just messing.
Well, very cool people. I don't know if any of you guys are on Facebook and see us on Facebook, but Gabe works in law enforcement, and Gabe actually has pictures where he's all geared up. He's got his SWAT vest on, and all his police gear, and he's got his saber
Lots
hanging.
of pockets.
Yeah, pockets. But it's cool because he gets geared up, and then he puts his saber on his belt and takes a picture in all his police gear with his saber on his belt.
You almost have to hide like the police.
Yeah.
You need to put, like, a
No, he
rebel.
leaves it. It's lots of police on
It's
there.
got,
You
like
know,
a
yeah.
rebel insignia. Or
Yeah.
something
I got to
instead.
switch it for like a maybe Jedi
Takes you out of the
emblem
world.
of some
Yeah.
sort.
They
That's a good
velcro off and
idea,
on,
man.
yeah.
You're giving me ideas
Yeah.
for modifications
Yeah,
now.
because maybe you
for,
can make a patch or something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously, besides lightsaber, I don't know. Being like what Harris just mentioned, that I'm in law enforcement, I think I would go with maybe a laser gun of some sort.
Like we were talking about that one time where you might have a gun as well, because you might
now
bad guys might be far away.
at some point you see, obviously, you know, you watch the movies and Jedi, you know, they're the good people or what have you. They're like, you know, the police of that universe or what have you. So I wonder if I could have some type of Jedi form of handcuffs to detain someone.
Well, we've seen like Obi-Wan hanging in What was
Oh,
it
yeah,
after
they're,
after
like,
the arena battle?
electrified,
Yeah, he's like hanging and he's got
is that the only way to hold somebody that can like shatter?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
shatter.
They can-
yeah.
Maybe it's stopping him from shattering.
I'd
the
say that
control
should be
box
standard
or
wear for any.
something.
Yeah.
I think
They look like a
you
force
were-
field.
I don't think
all around
Jedi
his
are really
wrists.
like
Yeah.
police, because that's like let's say we're on Corellia. That's like the Corellian security.
And I was just gonna say
force.
that.
So you don't see
specific
them
Jedi
as-
for that.
Or like Circa, like one of those companies that like does security. Like
Yeah.
Jedi's more like security on a large scale. Like
Yeah.
the way I sort of think of it is like one Jedi is equal to one planet.
Mhm.
That's how it always seemed like, at least in like the old book, in the older style books. You know, they're not canon anymore, but the books that I always read was like when there's a problem, like they would send Leia or something, and like Leia would have to just fix that planet,
problem.
like whatever. Like her dad may have done something to the planet. You know, going back to like the was it Heir to the Jedi, like those old Timothy Zahn books. And like, you know, she has to go there and just like right the wrongs. Maybe there's like crop disasters, like they sprayed crazy chemicals, they dropped a nuclear bomb, and so she has to basically heal that planet, you know. So like it's like that, but on a huge scale. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely think all your stuff would help, all your laser guns and all
Yeah.
your stuff. You might need that stuff,
Yeah.
especially if you come across like a Sith and you have to detain them.
Let me ask you a question. Take it back a sec. Which father would have sent something? Would it have been her adoptive father or her birth father?
No. There was a lot of problems that she had to go around and fix, you know, like after the fact, because she felt bad, I guess, you know. So I don't know if they're gonna show that stuff in this movie, like, you know, in the new movie coming out, like the emotional impact of all the stuff that their evil, you know, father did to different people and stuff like that. And are they gonna run into issues where they get somewhere, they're trying to get something done, and someone finds that out and then doesn't want to deal with them, you know? That's kind
The
of
sins of the father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you, Hesh?
Awesome. Well, I do, when I go to cons and stuff, I dress up like a Jedi. Although, you know, they call it a gray Jedi. Although I don't wear gray, I wear all black. It almost looks kind of like Anakin's, a little bit more customized. I have the leather tabards, but it's all black. Everything's black. And the only way to differentiate me as being a Jedi versus a Sith would be the green blade. You know? So other than that, and for a while there, I associated myself as almost like a gray Jedi, where, you know, like a lone wolf kind of, you know? You know, sometimes a Jedi will travel to other places with his apprentice, you know? But I don't want no apprentices. I'm my own guy, you know?
Right, solo.
Yeah,
what
like
happens
Solo,
to-
but on the Jedi, you know?
What happens to all your knowledge when you're gone?
So, yeah, well, you know, I mean, I would think, being a father in real life, I do have kids, I would like to pass that information on to my offspring.
Okay.
Not some stranger that Mace Windu said, here, he's yours.
Yeah.
But as far as my outfit goes and my gear goes, all black, nice big black, a lot of black leather boots, black leather tabards, real leather belt that I made myself. I went down to a leather craft store in Philadelphia and I bought some big leather and I cut it up into strips and I made my own belt, and I bought some of the hardware online. A dollar store for old cell phone pouches, which worked great. They look good on the belt. And the fun part was trying on the lady leather boots that go up to here, and trying to ask for them in my size in the lady shoe store. That was a little weird, but they look good. They look good in the costume, you know. I don't want to say costume, in the outfit, in the cosplay. But like on my belt, I mean, I sometimes I could see myself like the character that I would want to be. I would carry a blaster. I do have an earlier version of a belt that I actually made out of I went to Home Depot and bought a utility belt that they would, like a tool guy would use. So, like a guy building homes and stuff. He's wearing.
But it was like the right color and all that?
Yeah, it was all black, but it was like a nylon. Almost like looks like a police belt. Yeah.
I sometimes look at Home Depot.
Yeah, with the big belt buckle. Yeah, and I did that, and I actually have for a while there as a younger kid, I was into laser tag really big. So, and I actually got into modding laser tag stuff. I got this one older laser tag gun, and I painted it black. Got rid of that orange tip on the front. No orange tips in the Star Wars universe. And it's pretty done up, and I actually hooked a laser onto the side of it and So you can actually turn the red laser on like a laser dot pointer. And I was wearing that with my Jedi outfit for a while. Now, the last convention we went to, I wore my regular belt, my regular Jedi-looking belt, and I just went with the Saber. But, you know, and I bought a Gillette razor, and I turned it into a little communicator like Qui-Gon used in that movie. So if anybody says to me, what's in your pouches, Jedi? Yeah. I can show them I actually do have a Jedi communicator.
What's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet? Yeah.
What's in your pouch?
But yeah, I kind of tended to go with more of the lone wolf Jedi, all black, and differentiate my lifestyle, my training by the color of the saber. So nobody really knows what to make of me. I'm kind of a mystery.
So you got like the hood up a lot of the time?
I do have a full robe, beautiful robe. It's not made out of wool like the ones in the movies. It's more made out of like almost like a denim, a black denim twill.
Oh, that's cool because it's heavier.
It's a little heavier. It's hot, and when I do wear the robe is down low, slung down over the eyes. But I am the Jedi, you know. I am the Jedi. I'm not a Sith, you know.
So what else is like stored like in the belt, like in the Star Wars universe?
Well, I mean,
like one of those breathers.
The belt's great. I want to make one of those actually. I don't have a breather, but I mean, it's great because when you're in your Jedi outfit at a convention, the pouches are great. I put my keys in the pouches. I put my cell phone in the pouches. You know, I have one for my money. You know, my little knickknacks that come off, my kill keys off the sabers. I have a pouch that I would put all that stuff in. You know, so yeah, I mean they're useful. They're useful. You know, they're not just empty pouches to show the costume.
To just show off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you guys have the sabers that you, like, not that they actually cut things, but do the sabers you carry, are they the ones that you would want in the real Star Wars world, or do you envision like a different design for like an actual lightsaber that you have, or we just want yours that actually works? One
of the things that I think is very cool is they're always in the Star Wars realm. They're always updating their lightsaber. I'll give you a perfect example. You know, the Graflex from movies 4 and 5. Okay. That changed, okay? In the original, I believe it had 6 grips on it, and it had the glass eye on one side and the red button on the other. In the 5th movie, it had 2 red buttons. It had 7 grips on it. Instead of that calculator bubble card, it had that, looked like a metal plate card, looked like from a video game input.
Yeah.
And
the grips were held in by screws.
Yeah, and there were cutouts on the grips that were held in by screws. So it changes. And from what I understand, in the upcoming movie 7, the saber that we see now, mind you, that saber was supposed to be Anakin's saber, which looked totally different when Anakin had it.
Yeah.
You have one here.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I don't like about the Anakin one that I wish it had, like the Empire Strikes Back one, is those screws like holding.
You like the screw
look? I think it looks cool, and it also seems like it will function.
Well, I think that was a practicality necessity because what I think was happening in filming, the grips were sliding off.
Yeah,
so they just riveted them in or drilled them in, you know.
And it just became part of the look.
Yeah, they didn't realize it was just going to become
part. Every movie that saber.
That's so cool looking. I think that's in the new one. I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen it now. It has in the poster. I looked at the poster that we were looking at.
You can't really see.
Can't really see it, but there's that one scene in the trailer, in the beginning of the trailer, where you see one hand handing the saber to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you can see the cutouts on the grips, holding the little screws in place.
Oh, okay.
And you can, if you look to the top, and you know the Graflex pretty good, you can see that it has the the glass eye is actually back on that saber. So it's changed every movie that it's been in, and of course now in The Force Awakens, it's going to be a different saber altogether. Well, not really different, but it's got a whole different look to it.
Or something.
So yeah, so what you were asking me, I actually like to update myself. I'll for example,
you'll tinker with it.
Yeah, I'll tinker with it from time to time. I'll change my buttons out maybe. The other saber that I carry regularly, I had silver buttons on it, and the Custom Saber Shop came out with some nice new gold ring buttons. So I swapped to the gold buttons. I changed the cover tech to a brass cover tech instead of the silver one. And sometimes I'll even change my little thumb wheel screw that holds the blade in. I have a couple different ones. I have a black one, I have a red one, I have a gold one at home, and I'll swap them out. Little aesthetics that just kind of make it pop a little bit, and you know. So the sabers are always changing. You know, that's my thing. You know, that I think that the sabers are always changing and we're always updating. You know, we just added a little gold brass button to your saber last week, so that kind of changes the whole look.
Yeah.
And your saber that you'd have is blue one, like here, right? Like this saber's blue.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Like, would your guy like the belt that you have, like that you would wear, like in universe, like, would it be able to like hold your weight? Like, would it be like a breakaway type thing?
Oh
like
yeah, definitely.
What would that stuff be like? What would the quality be like of that stuff?
Well, I mean, definitely. Like, I'm also a volunteer firefighter, and back in the day, we would use we have a ladder truck in my fire company, goes up 100 foot, and I've been up that ladder 100 foot, and they will not let you step foot on the platform unless you're wearing a safety harness, which has like a big metal clip, and as you're climbing up the ladder, you hook that clip in. So that's real world for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, now on the same token, the battle at the clones on what was it, not Geonosis? I forget the name of the planet where Obi-Wan goes and finds where they're making all the clones to make the clone army.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the planet.
Camino.
Thank you. Where it's raining. You see the one scene where Obi, was it Obi? He pulls something out of his belt, he throws it,
Well, it was
and it wraps
actually
around.
the thing that he got cut off at Jango Fett's.
Yeah, and then they ended up wrapping around and falling. And
But I think they carry something like that anyway, right? Or at least the Stormtroopers had something like that, because like
a grappling hook of some
Luke
kind.
has it in the first movie.
Yeah, I would love to have something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. If I could have that in real life, I would wear that and shoot it up to a building and climb up the building like Spider-Man.
Better yet, like the Batman style one.
Yeah.
It's just like you hit the button and it zips
shoots
you
up. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to
Pulls
be
you up.
worried about like, you know, the weight that you're lifting or the
It's holding.
settings, so you don't get whiplash or something
Zoop
like that.
right up.
But like, if you have you know, like more than one saber, how many different colors are you dealing with? Or you only have one green saber and you have more than one? Like,
I have
colors?
My main saber's actually green. That's just my color. That's what I associate with. I have this saber, which can go green, and then this saber has a Plector Labs Petit Crouton version 3, so it's got 3 sound fonts in it, so we can change the sound font that easily by hitting the buttons. And now, if I want, I have a blue saber.
That's a nice blue. It's like a
it's a royal blue.
It's almost
a
like
royal blue almost.
Like the old dental blues looked a little UV, and that looks a little UV to me.
Yep.
I like the UV looking.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and I think just for fun, as they say, shits and giggles, I have Crystalline Workshop, and it's kind of a purple.
Oh, that's cool.
Not real bright because it's not a great color mix with the 3 colors, but it looks better in person than it does. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You can actually see it.
I like the core.
Yeah, you can see it glowing off the your ottoman here.
Yeah.
And you got the core effect, which is hard to see on camera. But yeah, you know, so you can go a couple different ways on this stuff, you know. Takes a long time to power down. Goodbye.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
so.
Like, do you guys have weapons that you picked up from people? You know, like are some of your sabers from other people? Like, do you have any? You know, like you said, you might have 4 sabers. Are they like one's your master's saber that died? One is like one that you killed somebody and it's a red one. Or like what happened?
I was actually joking about wearing all those sabers, but this one I got from someone else, and then my MHS Harris built for me, and they're both blue. I love blue. I'm like obsessed with blue. And my next one will be blue. I already have the Vader's Vault one that I want to get, that new Ardent that I'm just obsessed with. I want to get that, cool. And that's going to be blue also. I haven't really considered having that option of switching colors. I'm just fixated on blue. I love that.
Yeah. Me personally, I mean, I built this like a year ago, and I don't think I would ever do another color changing. The last saber I had. It's full power. I like the green. It doesn't even have flash on clash. just so I can go
But
those
it has
three.
flash, you know.
It has like a flicker
The sound
effect.
effect, yeah, and a little bit of flicker.
But it's
I
super
like the way
bright.
that looks.
Yeah, it's super bright, and I really like that. So I'll like if somebody asks me to build something for them, I'll do whatever they want. But I tend to like the brightness, which I'm a little disheartened with this. It's not as bright as I would like, you know.
Yeah.
What's your personal color?
Definitely green. I got my like personal saber right here. But like as this is like a green, like yours is green. I want the type of green that is more white, like the Viridian green is what I think they call it. Like at least in the Knights of the Old Republic game, they had like, you know, little gems you could pick up, like little crystals, and then you use a workbench in the game and you do your like crystal adding. Like I think one of the games you could even put multiple crystals in. But one of the things was you could do a Viridian crystal, which is like a light green, and they had cyan, and then they had silver, so that was like a white. And that's when I fell in love with the Viridian, like the lighter green color. So I would definitely have that light green.
Yeah, I tend to go green too. Have you guys seen the latest trailer? The latest trailer, they add a scene to the beginning of the trailer where you see it's a saber, it's open, and they have, it almost looks like a something you get in an ice bucket to pick up a piece of ice cubes, like a little tong. And they're picking up a crystal and they're dropping a crystal into the saber. Yeah, I'll show that to you later. Very cool. But the crystal, I don't know what color the saber will actually become later in the movie, but the crystal is glowing like almost like a white, like an eggshell white. So I don't know if, you know, in the canon of the movies, are all lightsaber crystals white, or is that going to be a white saber, so to speak? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Or if it changes later on, you mean?
Yeah, or you know, I think the
cut
Jedi
that one scene out of Jedi, which maybe
where Luke is working on it. Yeah.
Like
now, there's also the theory that in some of the books in the Jedi Path. Have you read that?
Yeah.
That's one of the lightsaber Star Wars books that I've read.
That's the one that comes out of the thing we talked about.
Yeah, well, there's a couple different versions. I just have the book itself from the bookstore. Okay. But I like there's a part in there that discusses crystals. And there's also a Google thing that discusses crystals. And in there, they say that all crystals are just a crystal color, like a clearish, I guess, until the saber or the force welder.
Imbue it with something?
Well, what he does is he meditates over it, and he empowers it with the force, and that is what in turn brings the color of the crystal out.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a couple different theories. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely have like a cool belt. Like this is like a belt that I just putting together for like costume type situations.
Yeah,
you know, like with like weird like this is like part from a camera I attached to here, other like little containers with stuff.
Yeah, I have a camera pouch on my belt too.
Things with like from the custom saber shop to try to look like that. Like Anakin had some like silver.
Yeah, the capsules. They were food capsules.
Oh. Different
color. I have a couple of those. They were actually pen capsules.
He also had like on his one glove or the robot arm. It was like like buckles there. So that's sort of where I get the idea for all that like silver stuff was. Although like practically that would shine back like you know, like would sort of reflect. You wouldn't want anyone to see you.
One thing I thought was really cool on the in the Clone Wars movies or the Clone Wars show, the cartoons, they had the wrist communicators, which were very cool. And one of the things I really like is these round ring buttons. Always throw me back that I could see that being on a wrist as a prop.
We could make something, like
just a little light blinking.
Like real life, you can even take a crystal focus or an old petit crouton and like wire it to
just to
do
light
all
up.
this stuff. Like you could have some buttons that maybe even something that makes a sound. You could do custom sounds.
You could change the fonts and actually talk. Have talk and talk back and forth to it.
Like it would be pretty bulky, but it. Do you remember from Empire Strikes Back that Lando had like a wrist thing that he would communicate with Lobot?
Yeah.
So like when I came up with like what I'd want like in the Star Wars universe would be, I'd want like something like Lando has, but like way bigger. So like maybe it looked like a gauntlet, but it had some like gadgets and stuff inside of it, right? So like it had stuff that it could do. Maybe it was like Boba Fett's thing, like it could shoot fire, could do different things, and then also like so I have the main saber that would be green, you know what I mean? And then in this like in the underarm of that thing, let's have it just be long enough for like a very slender lightsaber, not one like as bulky as my regular one, but one that would
like
look
a hidden
like
piece.
Yeah, a hidden one, right? So like let's say you were like fighting, and you could sort of maybe with the Force eject this,
Sort of like Assassin's
Palpatine.
Creed.
like
Well,
Palpatine.
Palpatine,
Yeah,
Palpatine,
like Assassin's
he shot
Creed,
his,
right?
They actually made stuff like that in the Old West. They actually had little tiny guns, little tiny derringers that these guys would strap to their forearm, and with like a flick of their elbow, it would come out and the derringer would be in your hand.
So I would want like, you know, like let's say you're in a situation where you have to like check the weapons. So you put like your one weapon down, and then maybe this is sort of like, you know, because it could be anything, right? It's like Lando has it to control Lobot or to communicate with Lobot. Other people might have it because their arm is broken and it's healing. So it could look like something like that, but, you know, have these like weapons in it. So if you have to check your main weapon, you have like another weapon. Like as far as if you guys have laser guns or blasters, like where would you holster it? Because I won't want mine holstered like
You like
sort of
like a
the hip
Han.
thing, like the Han Solo.
He wears it low, like a tactical SWAT gun.
Yeah, I've
They
had
wear
that
them
before.
low.
I worked a little drop leg holster.
Yeah, and like there's a strap here that would kind of hold it in place.
Yeah.
Is that how you'd have your blaster, like just in plain view?
I
or
would,
you have
I
it, like,
would,
in
I
your
would
boot?
set it like that. I
Yeah.
would probably set it like that. I mean, it's all about efficiency. You know what I mean? If you have for example, in law enforcement, you have a primary weapon, a secondary, you have your less lethal, and so on and so forth. So I guess you would set up your belt in that sense where, you know, you left-handed or you right-handed. What's your primary weapon? If you're able to drop that primary, how quickly can you get to your secondary weapon? You know, where are you going to place that? So those are things you have to think about when setting up a costume or a belt. You know?
That's pretty interesting, yeah. Because like I was also thinking, you know, what if you like you had the blaster, right? So like everyone kind of carries a blaster, right? And then your lightsaber, like to be secret, was sort of like. Do you ever see like in the Star Wars movies, they sometimes have something strapped to the back, like in the Rebels cartoon, they have these weird things. What if it was strapped back there, and with your clothes,
he takes it apart. It's in pieces to conceal it. And then he puts it together real quick.
So
and
maybe something like
that's
like
neat.
that. To sort of
for example, I'm right-handed, and if my stance were to be this way, because I'm right-handed, I want to have my power hand behind me. I'm going to have all my weapons over here and all my trinkets over here. Because if you're going to come at me, you can grab something from me. You're going to get stuff that's not really important. All my weapons are protected.
I think you'd benefit from some kind of left-handed gauntlet thing.
Yeah.
So maybe something with some kind of like shield projector thing that you could like bump.
Yeah, that'd be nice if
Let me
you
ask you guys this.
turn it on, you know.
Let me ask you guys this. You know, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but almost all the Jedis that I've seen, it doesn't matter if they're left-handed or right-handed, they all carry on their left hip or to the front of the left hip.
Yeah, like right about here.
So, you know, like
Obi-Wan reaches like
reaching
around
over,
this
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you got that cross, that cross draw, yeah.
That didn't make sense to me.
I like the idea of it because I think it looks cool and all that, but you're right, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like on my Jedi belt, I have it on my right side.
But they don't have to, right? Because like Yoda can just like he's holding it and the thing just goes.
Yeah,
like
it comes
this.
out like you use
no big deal for them.
Yeah.
And I think they've done that with Anakin and Obi. Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of like General Grievous when they snatched them back.
Yes.
They just sort of snatch them. They don't really care. Like,
Have you ever seen the scene? It's an outtake from I think the third movie. Or they're going to save Palpatine. Palpatine's like strapped to that big chair, and they go up against Dooku. There were some deleted scenes that you can see on YouTube. I saw them, and in one scene. It's the scene they're in the elevator, and Anakin pulls his saber out and cuts a hole in the roof of the elevator. And then it's the only time I've ever seen a Jedi do this. You see him actually hook it back to his belt. And it actually takes him like a second to get the saber onto the cover tape.
And that wasn't a part of it? Because I remember cutting the whole thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't a part of the movie of him putting it back?
No, they cut that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does cut the hole, but then afterward he puts it back, they cut that out. It's in some of the deleted scenes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it does take him a second or two to attach it back. Now, why didn't he use the Force to just...
Yeah, it should be something also like maybe
should be able to use the Force to ignite it.
I would figure like some kind of magnetic force field, a pull, an attraction, a tractor beam. You know, even on Star Wars. I'm sorry, even on Star Trek, and I'm not getting into the whole Star Trek, Star Wars universe here, but their phasers are communicators. They had Velcro on them. And who the hell knew what Velcro was in the 1960s?
But they were like light and plasticky looking, and the sabers are nice and metal, and you don't want that like bouncing around. Like I remember there was one book where this chick's trying to escape. You know, I don't know if I talked about this before. It's called Knight Errant, the book, and she's trying to escape because I think it's like Old Republic or the Jedi are being hunted down, whatever time period it is. She's got her saber just like strapped to like duct tape to the inside of her thigh, just to sort of, because they're like outlaws, you know what I mean? So sometimes you have to hide the fact, I guess, that you have. Yeah,
well, after Order 66, Palpatine, it was like known that you were not allowed to possess a crystal, a Jedi, a saber crystal. You were not allowed to possess a lightsaber, and if you did have one, you were considered an outlaw. You know. So that's an interesting fact that, you know, definitely. I mean, that, you weren't allowed to have any of that stuff on you. So in that time period, you'd almost have to hide your saber. Yeah. Which is what, what's his name, the character Kanan does. Yeah, in Rebels. He hides it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, like maybe you could, you know, have like a, what they call a holdout blaster, like in your boot or something, which is like the small, like our like little type of guns that we would have like a little...
cricket. From Men in Black.
Men in Black. The noisy cricket. The noisy cricket. I remember that.
But then again, I guess you want to stay light because part of the whole thing is like to be really mobile. You want to do those flips. You want to jump around. So I guess you don't want to have those armor and stuff.
Comfort. Yeah. That's the thing. Well, I'll tell you what. When I wear my outfit, my Jedi outfit, I went with my son and I walked around for about 2 hours. I was soaking wet. I'm soaked. I was sweating my tushy off, you know.
What was it, Florida though? Or?
No, it was here in Philadelphia, but it was summertime, you know. Wizard World in Philly, yeah. Just went a couple months ago. But it was so hot. I mean, I don't know how these guys are walking around in the desert. You know, walking around in the desert with full wool garb on. I mean, that's hot, man. It's hot.
That is. That's why I would like to see more. It's funny you mentioning. I was thinking this earlier. I would like, not that it hasn't been done before, it's already been done. I'm just saying I would like to see more of it. Now, what I'm going to explain next, in the Star Wars universe, in the Star Wars world, with or without lightsabers existing, we already know what Jedi dress like. They're not dressed like that just because they can carry lightsabers. The lightsaber doesn't make the outfit. You know what I'm saying? That's just the garment of that time, of that world, that universe. Now, in our world, in our universe, I think I would like to see more people modernizing or evolving on that, like we were talking about earlier, evolving the lightsaber on the outfit and garment also. I mean, you're always going to have that at heart, you know, the true Jedi look and all, because that's written in stone already. That's the epitome in what a Jedi is. But in our real world, I would like to see more people modernizing the look, if you will, a little bit. For what would a Jedi look here with our fashion? What would a Jedi look in our time? You know, that's what I'm curious to see.
I think certain things like won't work. Like I think like let's say your shoes work for a Jedi, you know, but like certain shoes won't work. I don't think, like as far as look, you know, that's close enough to like a boot.
But you also got to think of what's the Jedi's occupation. You know, I'm a law enforcement officer. I have to have a specific uniform.
Right, if they're just like the librarian.
So you know, what's the Jedi's position or occupation? You know, is that...
Even the librarian has a lightsaber.
She did have one?
Yeah, she did have one. Yeah, Clone Wars. Clone Wars. She they used her character a few times.
But she's also got two titles now. She's a librarian, but she's a Jedi. She was trained as a Jedi, you know, and she had a master.
She didn't do her job though, because that library was decimated at the end. Like she should have known. She should have studied up.
She didn't keep her practices up. But I guess that goes hand in hand with the outfit, you know, with the training and all that other stuff. But it's like martial arts nowadays, you know. I'm sure martial artists that are trained and constantly practice are always mentally prepared when they go out in public, so they are going to carry certain things in their pockets, or they are going to dress certain ways everywhere they go, because they have that mindset already and they're set in their ways. If anything pops off, I have to be prepared, because that's all they've ever trained for. Like a boxer or a fighter, You know, they're not going to go out in public in slippery shoes all the time because something happens. They got to be prepared. So I think, like I said, I'm not saying I came up with the idea. I didn't.
That's a really good point.
I've seen it a bunch of times on Facebook. You'll see it in other places. I just feel like I would like to see more people practicing that where you're bringing that world to our world like we have with lightsabers. You know?
Yeah, like certain things, like it just wouldn't work like with like flip flops. Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
obviously.
I feel like that's like the dumbest thing.
I would not be on the beach in flip flops.
If you need to be ready, like don't wear flip flops because like I think someone's gonna come along and just push you off the flip flops and you're just gonna be flying out. You know,
Kung Fu guys, they practice barefoot.
Actually, that's true. Like
they practice
maybe
barefoot.
If you know some shit,
I stand corrected on that because
if
you're a true martial artist, you don't necessarily need
to
be wearing sneakers all the time. You could do it barefooted. So I stand corrected. I'm not a martial artist, or I do not. Neither
but at the same time,
I
think you're making a point though about our world because like let's say asphalt, right? So you don't want to be fighting someone barefoot on the asphalt, or even running, or even kneeling, or even rolling, because you're gonna get cut up and your feet are gonna get trashed.
Sure,
you know what I mean? So I think like you said a good point where they wear like a if you were a Jedi, you'd want to wear the proper footwear.
Yeah.
Well, that's
giving lessons.
Listen, my brother is a Philadelphia police officer, like you are. Okay, so perfect example. He's a little different type of a job than what Gabe does. He's a beat officer, so he's wearing in the summertime. He's wearing black long pants, black boots, and he's wearing his police shirt. And then under his police shirt, he's wearing a bulletproof vest. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you've ever been around a cop on a 100-degree day when he's wearing a bulletproof vest and then he comes home and takes that bulletproof vest off. Bad stuff. You don't want to be around it. It's stanky, man. Okay? So, I mean, but he has to wear that all day long. You never know when that problem's going to arise. He's wearing that vest all day long. You wear a vest all day, so
like that's that's sort of the balance you have to go with. Like you want to be super light, that all you have is the one saber and nothing else. You could do 1,000 flips, or like me, I want to have all the gadgets. I want to have like little everything in the pockets filled up. You know what I mean? Like pockets going one way, pockets going the other.
So
way.
instead of Inspector Gadget, you want to be Inspector Jedi.
Yeah. I want to be like tactical.
Have you ever felt a real police officer belt?
No. With
his gun attached, handcuffs.
I think weighs a
ton. It weighs a ton. It's got to weigh 25 pounds, baby.
Like at the store, there's like some of those pockets. It's not soft like this. It's
very hard leather,
rigid, hard
leather.
Yeah.
Something
I did.
You
probably need a combination, like things that are explosive.
Yes.
Let's go with the hard pocket.
I'll tell you something.
That are very durable. We can go with the soft.
Something
pocket.
neat that I did for my laser tag gun that I carry with my Jedi belt that I had. I actually made a holster for it. So you say, where do you get a holster for your laser tag gun? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I went to Home Depot, and I got a holster that a mechanic or a house builder would wear a drill. They wear drills on their belt. Okay? And here's the trick. You can mold leather. I took it was leather. It was designed for a drill. I took the leather and I soaked it in warm water for about an hour. I actually found this out on the internet. Somebody else did it and I copied their idea. But I soaked it in water, took it out of the water, and put the laser tag gun in it and pressed it. And it actually molded. And I let it sit in there overnight. And now it's dry and it's hard as a rock. It's formed to the laser tag gun. Cool. It doesn't look like the drill holster anymore. It looks like it's a holster for a laser tag gun. It was actually like a tan leather. I got some shoe polish, and I used the shoe polish on the leather, and it's black. It matches the whole outfit.
Nice.
It's awesome.
So when you're even in your like costume outfit, you have the laser gun.
Sometimes I wear it, sometimes I don't. Yeah. But I do have the. I don't pull it out. It's more for show.
Yeah.
You know.
Like with what Gabe was saying about like the outfit's gotta sort of be updated, over time, or if it was in our world, like in the books I don't know if they're going to go backwards and not do this, because if you saw that new picture of Luke Skywalker, he is in like the regular Jedi robes.
I did see that this week.
But in the books they did proceed, and they did they didn't really adhere to those older.
Well, the Jedi outfit itself, in its essence, I believe and feel it's timeless. You know, I don't think that it will ever go out of fashion. From when in the 70s when it came out, you see someone 2015 wearing it, it's like it just came out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in that world.
It's not one of those goofy space outfits.
No, it's not. It identifies in that world, and it looks good. I'm not taking from that. Well, it just identifies to that world. But I'm just saying, again, I think I would like to see more of it being modernized.
Utility more.
Maybe more modernized with more of today's fashions. What if you do want to be, you know, carrying your saber everywhere you go all day, you know? And maybe there's a specific way of modernizing your own outfit. Again, it's been done, but we probably haven't seen it much yet. You know, I think I would like to see more of that. I would like to see more of that to bring that, you know, that into that fantasy more into reality, if you will. Since I mean, you know, these aren't real lightsabers, but you know what I'm trying to say.
They're not.
You're not. You're not gonna be like I said, like you said earlier, in flip flops and shorts on the beach. You know, I was up in, we were just talking about, I was up in Wildwood Beach for the weekend, just this past weekend. And, you know, I wasn't going to be on the beach suntanning.
Did you want to take your
my
saber
beach
with
short.
you?
Oh my God, did I want to take it? Are you kidding me? My girl will kill me. But I wasn't going to be on the beach with the saber, you know what I mean? Because, of course, you know, there's a time and place for everything. But I really do want to see that, and I'm going to do it myself. I want to try to start putting together outfits to fit today's, you know, I guess criteria of fashion or whatever, where I can wear the saber, but somehow in that outfit, whatever I'm wearing for whatever occasion, you can see a sense or a hint of Jedi, and it's not so far off as I'm cosplaying everywhere I go.
I know what you mean, because like when I'm looking for clothes, a lot of times I'll buy, and like I don't even end up like liking this stuff as far as to wear, because like I have a pair of pants that I just bought because I was like, these look like they could be like Jedi pants for our time. They had like some zippers, they had some pockets, they had some like just like sort of patched add-ons that went up and down. It looked like a little
makes it a little durable, like covering the knees, protect the knees.
Yeah, and they were black.
I've had
some
those
little
pants
padding built
like
into
tactical pants, and they come with the padding on the inside. I've had those.
Yeah, but like they're not very comfortable. Like I would, you know, like, and there's been other shirts that they're like sweaters that look like they could be from the Star Wars universe that I'll like buy, and then I just like don't wear it, or I'm just like waiting for the right moment like to wear it. You know what I mean? Like for one costume, I sort of never really did it, but I got one of these like uniforms for something. It's like a overall.
It looks like a flight suit to me.
Yeah, like
it looks like a flight suit. It also kind of, I see a hint of like correction officers use that sometimes.
Okay.
That kind of.
So like this plus a sweet belt, and then sweet like tall boots, and then maybe some like half finger gloves. You see where I'm going with this? Maybe some Chewbacca style
bandoliers or something.
Yeah, with ammo or something on there. And I think like you know, like you said, if it looks like a pilot, that'd be perfect, because you know you'll be flying an X-wing or something like that. You jump out of it, you're ready for battle. You have all your stuff, just like Luke when he crashed the snow speeder. He went in, he grabbed his bag of lightsaber and thermal detonators and all that stuff. So.
Well, it kind of reminds me. Aside from the fact that it's is it black or dark blue?
It's dark blue, but
dark
I was
blue?
you know I was hoping like
dye it.
Yeah, well I was thinking of would blue work? I don't know, but yeah, it would be nice if it was black.
It would go good that color.
It's a navy blue, so I really feel you can get away with it.
Yeah, it's a nice looking piece. It almost reminds me, aside from the fact that it's all one piece, almost reminds me of the Luke Bespin. It's got the big pockets up here on the
like
chest.
A beige one.
Yeah, it was like a tan or a beige. Yeah. But almost like if you were to cut it in half and go pants and it almost has that Luke Bespin kind of feel to it.
Yeah, because like in the books where they talk about like Jason Solo, Luke's son Ben, they're wearing these sort of like coveralls that they sort of do everything in. I forget what the group that they're sort of in. It's almost like special forces. That it's like Jason Solo, Ben Skywalker, a couple other like elite people, or like these rangers or whatever you want to call it, and they sort of just have these simple outfits that kind of like I try to do that, you know, like make that happen, but then it's sort of time keeps rolling on, and they canceled that whole history, and are moving on. So we'll see what kind of outfits are in these new movies. Yeah, like supposed to occupy that same time period, because in the books they did evolve a little bit. They weren't really, as far as I remember, they weren't really like, you know, all like robed out. It was kind of like whatever they deemed necessary, I think, and it was sort of like the same situation where they don't really want everyone to know when they walk in the room. I think that was safer when there was like thousands and thousands of your type, right? If there's like thousands and thousands of Jedi, you're okay with probably like, hey, like here I am or something. If there's like 12, it's like, maybe we shouldn't like advertise that we're coming, you know?
Yeah.
Well, let me say this to you guys. Now, taking it out of the Star Wars universe and into our world, okay? All this stuff was thought up by George Lucas, okay? And I've seen some documentaries with him where he said he wanted the Jedi to almost come across like monks. Like, you know, the monks, I know you're a fan of the martial arts, Japanese karate films and stuff like that. You know, think back to those movies, you know, the Shaolin Temple, you know, the monks that train people, and you know, instead of having...
Say they didn't have lightsabers?
Well, no, I mean, you know, the Shaolin Temple guys didn't, but Jedis do, you know. But they had bow staffs, and they had, you know.
But yeah, you know what? Now you mentioned like the Shaolin monks you see nowadays out there that study the Shaolin Kung Fu and stuff like that. Those outfits have a hint of, could be like Jedi looking.
Well, that's what he geared it on.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
That.
That's like a timeless look. That's what I'm trying to say. Those, they go back, you know,
thousands of
years.
But today in 2015, they're still wearing the same thing.
You look at them in 2015 with the orange and the yellow.
Yes.
If you put a lightsaber on one of them, Jedi all the way.
Yeah.
You know.
And like I guess he took a lot of like Asian influence from like when something went dark or went bad or went wrong, where they lose limbs and all this stuff, then they need a costume. He puts on like a samurai costume or something that looks like that for Darth Vader, right? Let
me ask you guys this, right? I mean, you've all seen Star Wars: A New Hope, right? Which was the fourth movie, but the first one that we've ever seen. So when Ben and Luke walk into the the Mos Eisley Cantina, they call it. I mean,
a lot of people are dressed like that. Or?
Well, I mean, Ben's the only one dressed like that traditional Jedi-looking garb, so to speak. So, do these people know that he is a Jedi? He still carries that same look.
That weird alien that has a big snap that's like ratting on everybody.
Yeah.
He has like I think people that like hide at least the outer part. I'm not talking about the whole shawl or whatever's going on underneath, but just the outer thing. It seems like lots of people are just kind of wearing that, especially in those shady places, as far as I could recall. Or, you know, even these weird aliens have like just like have like a hood.
Do you think Ben was trying to hide the fact that, because technically he was in hiding?
Yeah,
he was hiding. I mean, he took.
I just thought, I guess at that point that robe is just sort of a light protection against the sun. I didn't really know that it's like, oh, this
at
is
that time, but yeah, but then you see, as time progresses and we get the first three movies, you know, that's what all the Jedi wear.
Yeah.
And the Jedi, I mean, they're known. Everybody knows what a Jedi is. That's like us saying, you know, what's a police officer? You know what I mean? But, you know, so like makes you think. Like, you know, I realize as time went on, he wrote more to the story. But, you know, in the canon, you know, he walked into that cantina. Did everybody know that he was a Jedi? Or didn't they?
I don't think so. Until
he whipped the saber out and cut the guy's arm off.
Yeah.
You know?
They were like, even though it was only, 20 years later, weren't they playing it in that movie like everyone had just forgotten it. Like, you know, Luke is like, wait, what are you talking about? Like,
how old was Luke supposed to be in that movie?
Like 19.
Okay, so so
like
it's
20 years later, and it just, the way that universe seems to work was like that everyone kind of forgot about them by that point, even though it was only 20 years. It wasn't, you know.
That's a stretch to me, I think.
It's weird, but it was.
Because there were so many Jedi.
Yeah, and like nobody seemed to see. Everyone seemed to be surprised when they came across it.
They were the peacekeepers.
Yeah.
They were the sheriffs. You know what I mean? The Old West. That's where Lucas took all this idea from. You know, he was a kid going to see these old Western movies.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's a title. It's a position. So when they have known by seeing him, you know, in that garb or in that outfit, Jedi, because Jedi dress like that. You know, that's a Jedi's.
All right, so
outfit.
now let's look at the opposite end of it, okay? Fast forward 20 years, okay? Everybody knows what a stormtrooper is now, right? Everybody knows. Now, at the time that the second movie was coming out, there were no stormtroopers yet. They were making the clones.
Are you talking about Attack of the Clones?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So there were no stormtroopers then. There were only the Jedi. Okay. But now, fast forward another 20 years from that point. Luke's not even born yet when the
20
clones.
years from, okay.
You know, Luke's not born yet when the clones are being created. The clone army. Okay. The stormtroopers. That's where the clone army came from. Okay. So now, fast forward 20 years. Okay. Now the Jedi are gone. And the Empire's running the whole show. So are the stormtroopers technically now the law enforcement?
Yeah.
Are they
martial law,
our martial law, our martial military?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So and think about their outfits.
Well, anyone that could even remember, let's say you're in that world, you see these stormtroopers. If you're old enough to remember or to be there, you would have thought the Jedi and them were intertwined and connected.
They were at first.
Because they were fighting together. So if you remembered and cared, oh, what do the Jedi want? Well, they want us to follow these guys because they were working with these guys.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know,
I don't know what happened.
Order 66, Palpatine flipped the switch.
Yeah.
You know, done. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, I think one of the characters in movie 7 is going to be, I forget his name, one of the main stormtroopers from the Clone Wars, I think I heard.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
two of them maybe.
And I forget what his name is, but in the movie, I think I heard or I read somewhere online that he had some kind of surgery and had that little piece of brain matter or that chip that was implanted in the clones.
What, to keep him not get old or something?
No. He gets old, but he's not hating the Jedi. He's still with the Jedi.
Oh, the chip that makes
Order 66 go
click.
And now kill all Jedi. You know?
He took it out himself.
I don't know if he took it out himself or not, but yeah, I mean, I had heard that. I don't know if that's true or not, and a lot of speculation and a lot of talk, you know. And I go on a lot of the forums and stuff like that, and you know, I don't type in a lot, but I read. You know, I read a lot of it. So it could have, for me, all I know, it could have been hearsay. It could have been just somebody's idea of what may happen.
Yeah.
But you know, something to think about.
I guess something like that had to happen. I mean, like, you know, like things that you don't need or want, like that chip. It almost seems like part of the Jedi outfit that they're even carrying around. Like the lightsaber is the only thing they care about, because even the exterior robe, they just like flick it off and just
drop it and throw it. Yeah,
give a shit about it.
Yeah, drop it and throw it.
Yeah, I guess those are.
That's why it goes back to what I was saying. Maybe that's just the fashion of that time. Lightsabers have nothing to do with that. That's just the lightsaber is just, you know, the added bonus to the fact that they're a Jedi. But it could be just the fashion of that time. And if that was just the garb of that time, the garment, you know, if you look at any other civilian in that movie, are they wearing a similar outfit? Do they have like almost more or less the same, not identical, because you have to identify as a Jedi or distinguish yourself as a Jedi, obviously. But if that's just a normal garb, then you know, again, what would it be like today? You know, if you were a Jedi in our time.
There's a lot of cool materials, like like I don't know if our sabers would be like, we would probably do, instead of aluminum, we can do, like if we were a Jedi in our world, we have like Kevlar and all these, you know, what's the one they put on cars? Carbon fiber and different ceramics.
Teflon and all that.
Yeah, so I wonder if like we would be using, because we're just making the props, you know, these are aluminum props, just aluminum, so that we could have it easy as far as making it. But maybe if we took our time, made one out of some better material.
Steel. There are manufacturers.
Heavier,
there are some saber I remember Larble back in the day did make a run of the Obi-Wan sabers from the first movie, from the Phantom Menace movie, and he made a steel run. And from what I understand, I've never held one, but it was like 3 times the weight of one.
I felt the steel
very
saber.
heavy.
I don't like that. Like I think the lightest material, like the lightest and newest materials, would be really cool.
Like
well,
titanium?
you know.
Yeah, like something, and maybe if there was something that was slightly repellent or resistant to
Rust,
the energy
corrosion?
blade.
Oh,
like
okay.
Like, so
the heat.
it could maybe deflect or be a slight. It could stop, let's say, a lightsaber blade from.
But
from
Obi-Wan
cutting
cut
if you were-
Maul's in half. If you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Cut
so
it in half.
maybe that
Or
material
it could
wasn't
be
that good
just that
either.
he hit it in the right spot.
Mm.
You know, maybe
I
that's a
think Maul
weak
was
spot
lucky
in the
that
saber.
the thing didn't extinguish. Like
The
that he
thing-
didn't dissolve the entire electronics.
Well, I think
Or
what-
didn't explode. It had
Yeah.
a crystal in
I
it.
think where he
Seriously.
hit it, they were two sabers put together,
Mhm.
Darth Maul's.
Mhm.
So
He did
if-
destroy one of them.
I think what he did was where he cut it, it was into the one that went out, and he dropped that
Mm.
one. But that other one, the blade did not hit that piece of that functioning
Still
saber,
good to go.
so it was still good to go. Yeah, I mean, let's knock wood. Was it a lucky hit?
Mm.
You know, was it a lucky hit on that saber? You know.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like, as far as like my fantasy style, like arm gauntlet thing with the saber inside, I was thinking blue for that one.
Okay.
So it's like that one comes out if necessary.
Blue and
It's
green?
blue. Got the green is the
So
main
I was
one.
just gonna say your primary would be green, your
Yeah.
secondary blue. That's
That's pretty
awesome.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Like Ahsoka Tano, she carries two different color
Green
green.
ones, and one's
Yeah.
a little shorter or
Yeah,
something. like
Shoto.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even the new ones. In fact, I just saw somebody today posted some photos that Saberforge is getting ready to do a line of the new Ahsoka Tano sabers
Oh,
from
those
the.
look like really cool, like samurai style.
Yeah, they almost look like a samurai handle. Got a little curve to it, a little
That's
arc.
gonna be hard to make.
Yeah, very thin.
Yeah.
Very
well,
thin.
because the like the one thing I was looking at the Imperial Royal Arms Forum, and Darth Alice was making sabers that were oval
Instead of
hilt
perfectly
shape
round.
instead of perfectly round, and it looks awesome.
Sweet.
It looks awesome, you guys. And like it has like I think he had a leather wrap on one of them. It's like a Coda style saber with the oval hilt, and it looked awesome because we don't see that too often, and it looks like a nice Japanese sword that would be awesome to grip. You
Oh.
know.
You just kind of brought up another thought in my head. Coda, he was general, right? General Coda, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Ram Coda
Okay, yes.
from the game, yeah.
Yes. You guys remember? I don't know if you know it. I don't know if you ever played the game. I played the game a little bit.
Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd he carry his saber?
I don't remember.
It's on his back.
I was just
Ah.
He had a leather bandolier.
To hide it in a way? Or
And I don't
because
think he hid
prefers
it. I
this?
think that's just where he,
That's where he
Oh,
holds
you
it.
know, yeah.
Oh, because it's like a ninja.
Yeah, think like a ninja carrying
Okay.
his saber or sword on the back.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
I'm thinking more along the line, like Blade from the Blade
I
movies,
was-
Western
yeah, I was
Times.
just thinking of
He
it.
had
I
the
was
sword
sick.
coming
Comes
out of his
straight up,
back,
yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
that's
He-Man.
awesome, and I
Yeah.
really like that sword too. How it pops if anyone else grabs it.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
explodes
yeah,
their
cut his hand off, cut the vampire's hands
Oh
off.
my god.
Wouldn't that be cool if a saber could do that?
Yeah, well, I think some of them did it in the books, had some kind of, or at least not able
Defensive
to turn
mechanism.
on. Yeah, defensive mechanism, like a shock or
Well,
not
that's
able
why
to
I
turn
mentioned
on.
earlier. It would be cool if Jedi can ignite it using the Force.
Yeah, because I think if you
I
were
think they
making
do.
this in
They
that
say
world,
that a saber, like not all sabers have buttons on.
No,
them.
yeah, like I think if you were making your own saber, I don't think you'd put buttons on it because you would you would make sure you'd put the button inside there, but you just click it. You'd know where it is, and you click it with your mind.
Mm.
But at the same time, maybe it's a good idea to have a button because what if you're in one of those situations where the force is taken away from you, whether it's one of those lizards that takes away the force, or whether they do something like those electronic things too, like they did to Obi-Wan. Maybe you can't use the force. Maybe if he has the button.
Let me ask you
Turn it
guys
on.
this, okay? So sabers, buttons, no buttons. But you ready? But okay. When a Jedi or a Sith uses the saber, okay? Now, in my original thought, you got to hold the button on to activate the saber, because
That's what I
remember the
thought,
scene
too.
when Vader kind of twirls it and
he-
Luke loses
he
the
lets it
saber.
loose, it's off.
It's off as soon as you release it. It's off, okay?
Yeah, there was no button switch there.
But I've seen Jedi Vader.
He throws it.
He throws it. So how does it stay on?
They explain that in those in those books that I bought and I've looked at, but I don't remember all the details. But it was like a constant on switch, like you might have for like a shaver or something that he slides it forward and it stays on.
It locks.
So you're right. The original thing was they had to hold something on, I think. And then another thing I read in one of these books that was that the saber also had some kind of sensor where if it was released from the hand
It would turn off.
without locking on, or it hit the ground, it would turn off. That's another one of those things I read. I guess it depended on which saber and who made it.
Yeah, I had a very deep conversation with a buddy of mine one night about saber buttons. You know, are there buttons? Aren't there buttons? If you let it go, if you drop it, will it turn off? Won't it turn off? You know?
You know, they make for law enforcement, I've seen they make firearms where the gun won't fire.
It's got a thumbprint or
it's got the
fingerprint
scanner on it.
Sure.
You know, it'd be cool if they did.
Sure, and if it's not it's not programmed, you know.
So your DNA.
iPhone, your iPhone has a thumb sensor on it. It won't turn on unless your thumb is on it.
That's true, yeah.
You know, so I mean, could we be going that? Maybe we'll put thumb sensors.
Or it's almost like that one week we were talking about the screens, maybe last week. That could be, you know, you have that thumb sensor, and then that could prevent anyone else from using your weapon.
I think I said that in the last episode
like,
where we talked about touchscreen
technology.
Yes.
It'd be cool.
Now, like me, example, like my phone, like I don't care. I have nothing to hide from my wife, right?
Yeah.
So I gave her. You can put 5 fingerprints in the iPhone.
Right.
So I gave her one. So this way she don't have to. I mean, she knows my passcode, but she could always just hit her thumb on it and activate my phone if she needs to use it for something.
That's true.
So think about that. Like
you could give it to like Luke could have
Leia's thumbprint or handprint or hand sensor or something like that in there.
Unless it's just all a force thing, you know.
It could also be a force
Luke
thing.
was lucky that it wasn't a force thing when Han was able to sort of cut that hole.
Open the
creature up to Tauntaun.
Yeah, that's right.
The Tauntaun.
So he was lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
So
and
in that sense, it could have been
think back to this scene now. A lot of craziness going on here, right? But think back to the other scene after it's on Geonosis, after or during the arena battle. You know, you got those pillars, and you had Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan were chained up. And they didn't have their sabers. Their saber, first of all, Anakin's saber, if you remember, got cut in half in the droid factory. Okay, and they probably took Obi-Wan's when they caught him and he got captured, right? So remember, another Jedi comes over and throws 2 sabers to these guys.
They instantly go on.
Well, they instantly turn on, So now, are they programmed that any Jedi can use it, or are they just
actually,
the force that
those I think are called arena sabers, which that's just a name like our custom
arena
groups
sabers,
give to those sabers because they're given in the arena. But what it actually means is another name for it is clan saber. So that's just like, I think it's like Jedi clan, a basic saber that was, let's say, built by. Like, see, I think if you were a true Jedi, you'd really want to build your own. But there's probably you were saying there's different ones with different jobs. So maybe someone has a job to sort of build some training sabers, or some sort of spare.
I
sabers.
mean it's also this kind of sabers you'd give to a kid, a youngling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So maybe something like that, or maybe it was ones left behind from someone that died.
Right.
That they kind of got them from it.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's take it back to real world again. So, a police officer, I know in Philadelphia, all the police officers carry Glock model 17 9mm, okay? Now, my brother, for example, when he's off duty, he can carry his Glock, but he's got an assortment of other guns, you know what I mean? So now he just carries something a little smaller. But, let's say SpaceWindu in Texas, he's going out for dinner, and he's a law enforcement officer during the day, and he's carrying his Glock service weapon. Service weapon is the key word, okay? But then it goes home, and he gets changed, and he puts on his big 10-gallon hat, and he puts on his cowboy boots. He might want to take his custom, ornate, maybe gold-toned 6-shooter and strap that to his hip and take that to dinner when he goes to dinner with his wife. So there are different
I hope that's
weapons.
not what it's like for a Jedi, though.
Never know. Never know. Oh yeah, the big 10-gallon hat.
Exactly.
But you never know. You never know. I'm just using it as an example and showing, how real world can come into this world back and forth.
I think
that's back to concealed carry. You're talking about that one that comes out.
Yeah.
That's concealed carry right there.
I mean, now you never see Mace Windu's saber in the first one. I believe was one of those clan sabers or one of those arena sabers. But then he wanted something, the Samuel Jackson. He wanted something ornate to make his character stand out.
Yeah.
So, he's got, like we said a few episodes ago, we were talking in our, bling bling. He's got his saber blinged
Electrum.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think like his and Sidious's saber probably have some kind of secret feature with that secret turn on. I don't think other people are going to turn on Sidious's saber, but I don't know. I don't think I've read anything about his.
Yeah, well, we never really see Mace Windu actually turn his saber on. It's got those 3 little cubes in the front.
That they have, like the MR has the one.
The Master Replicas, you kind of slide it.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little trick. Yeah, definitely.
I like that.
But we don't know if that's the way it is for Mace Windu in their world.
Right.
Right.
And I like what some people do with the Mace Windu is put another button underneath the little leather patch that they have going on that saber.
So they just push the button, it's hit.
So they know where it is under the leather or the ram coat.
Only they know where the button is.
Yeah.
So if like anybody else picked it up, they'd be like, all right, where do I turn this thing on?
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I guess the idea is that no one else is ever going to touch the thing, though, unless they die, some kid comes along, but that would just be terrible if an accident could happen. That's why they don't let anyone touch their weapon. Just like a cop won't let anyone touch they're not going to. Oh, you want to touch my gun?
Yeah, check out my handgun. Yeah, cop never gives up his handgun. Yeah. No, I don't care who it is.
Like even Qui-Gon, he let loose a little glimpse of it. That's as far as he went.
When he opened his robe, yeah.
That's as far as he went. He didn't
My brother's been a cop for 20 years. I've never touched any of his service
weapons. You've never seen it laying around on the coffee table.
No.
That. It's always. I'm sure it's always close
with them. With them.
Yeah,
with them,
I bet you when they go into the bathroom, take it into the bathroom.
I definitely like to think of them also as heirlooms, a family heirloom. Mm-hmm. Like you pass it down to your kids. I know, I have a bunch of sabers at home that my son is 10 and he knows, when I'm dust in the wind, those sabers are going to be his, What's he going to do with them? Is he going to keep them? Is he going to carry on the tradition?
Well, you don't know yet because he's 10. Right?
Yeah, he's only 10.
So you gotta wait to see what he likes. I didn't like the movies. I said in episode 1 that I didn't even like Star Wars until I was 16. But then I went deep. I went crazy, and so you just never know. Maybe he's 20. I think different movies hit you at different times. I could watch a movie. Just the other day, I watched a movie I hadn't seen in 10 or 15 years. I didn't remember how the movie even went.
It's all new again.
Yeah, and it was this is what happened, and then you sort of have this different perspective because you're 5 years old or you're 10 years old or you're just at a different point in your life. Sure. Maybe when you first saw it, you were too happy or too sad or somewhere in the middle, and then you have to see it at the right mindset. You're not distracted, and then you like it or something like that.
Sure, it changes everything. Everything changes.
Yeah, or maybe he could have something else. But there's so much going on right now, with the stuff that we could like guys could like superheroes. An amazing amount of
Justice, Dawn of Justice, Batman, Superman, and the X-Men movies, and the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
And, totally.
Plus, we have all these Star Wars movies, so that's kind of a.
Sure.
It could kind of,
it's a good time to be a
10-year-old. Yeah, and if you have a 10-year-old, I can imagine your head must be spinning.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a geek.
Yeah, for sure.
I see a lot of grown men and women nowadays freaking out.
Oh yeah.
Wishing that they had this when they were younger.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So now they get to live out all those fantasies. Nobody can hold it against them. Nothing can
stop
the time.
That's one of the reasons why I do carry my saber everywhere I go. I've said it before on our different episodes here, that I love the shock value when somebody looks at it and says, "Is that a lightsaber?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is." Yes.
But I can't turn it on because
I need this blade to carry around too.
We don't go that far.
Yeah.
Just say, yes, it is enough. Turn around, continue on, and they'll be stupid.
No, but I mean it in the sense making them think it's real. Saying I can't turn it on though.
Oh, I got you. I might hurt somebody.
Well, chop off your head. Already.
Well, how about I'll go this route, getting back to the whole the clothing and the gear, boots, man. I mean, all the different kind of boots you see these guys wearing, the Jedi, the Space Marauders.
Yeah, I haven't found any. I look sometimes in stores. Let me see what they have. It's hard to find some of these.
It's really hard to find some of these boots.
The one thing I was thinking of was there's a lot of places that do leather working, and Italy, let's say, is big on custom made bags and custom made shoes, and it's not
you're gonna pay for it.
But it's not as you'd think. I think if you were in Italy and you want to get custom shoes made, I don't think it's as crazy as the price you'd be imagining, really. But maybe it would be if you wanted all that, these knee-high boots that just look cool for the movie. that we would want too. That might be something crazy.
Well, that's
that
like
might be something crazy.
I
but
found,
I heard people get custom shoes. It wasn't crazy.
I found a pair of, they call them riding boots. Okay, I found a pair of girls' riding boots that fit my foot, and I felt like an idiot trying them on, but I took them home, and the top, it kind of folded down, but if you unfold it and bring it up, it comes up really high, and it's got that slice on the sides here. It makes it look cool, but the top of it was brown. So I modified them. I took some shoe polish, and I painted them black with the shoe polish, and they look awesome. They look like nice Jedi boots, and they're actually kind of comfortable to wear. I wore them for 2 or 3 hours, you know, and they were kind of comfortable. So yeah, I mean that's, you know, but I'm talking like hidden pockets in your boots.
Yeah.
Maybe like click the heels together and a blade comes out the front.
Or something, yeah.
You know, like again back to the old West days. You know, they had stuff.
Have you
like
seen
that.
Tango and Cash, one of my favorite
Yes.
like '80s movies?
Yes.
He's got the gun in his boot.
Yes.
And he's like falling over a railing and he shoots somebody with the gun.
I mean, a small
It's crazy.
thin saber can tuck nice down inside of a boot. You know,
Yeah,
and
or one
nobody
of
would
these
ever.
ones we're talking about that's oval.
Yeah, the thin saber. Nobody would ever have
Word.
done to be the wiser that it was in there. You know.
Right.
Sort of like, remember Tron? The little
disc
looks like a
thing?
little blade, and then he opens it, it's the motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
Tron 2,
that's
Tron 2.
crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm trying to say?
it was like a baton. It
Yeah.
looked like a nightstick,
Looks
like a
like a little
copper
knife,
pattern.
but
Yeah.
it's real thin,
That's
real
sick,
sleek,
Yeah.
real ergonomic and sleek, and
Yeah.
you could never tell. I mean, you could turn that into a saber somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that would be something. Cool.
And I think it was also a weapon. I think they fought with that too, didn't they, in that movie?
I don't remember.
I think
don't
they
remember.
fought with
Yeah,
it like
you give
that.
me ideas with that, like some device. Maybe a glider could come out, like that Avatar cartoon. Maybe I don't know. When you're in the Star Wars universe, the technology is so out of this world.
Yeah.
That it seems like anything's possible.
Speaking of Tron, even those outfits I would wear lightsaber with, and it looks like modern. You know, so
The
that's-
glow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all that EO
Those are
wire and
cool.
stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Those are
cool
sick.
stuff.
Yeah. Have the color you like. If you want to throw on the hoodie that goes with that outfit, throw on a lightsaber, boom.
But then you can't hide at all. I mean, I guess you'll just turn off the switch.
No, I mean, well, yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe cosplaying. You could have the light,
okay.
but in the
Actually, yeah,
in
because
that
like,
sense-
well, as far as our custom props go, you could use the chip inside these sabers, like we were talking about before, to power different weird things.
Mhm.
So if you really got crazy, had a lot of time on your hands, you could make a costume powered by one of these crystal focuses.
Oh, absolutely. Who knows?
I mean, like it's
That'd be
something
cool.
that we could do now. Just
With the technology that's here.
with the technology that we have that we couldn't do 10 years ago, or it would be a lot harder. Like only like movie prop people were doing that type of stuff. You could do that in your garage now with one of these
Sure.
crystal focus or petit
Sure.
crouton, or even then like the Nano could run a light sequence thing.
Sure.
It'd be pretty crazy.
Here's another one I'll touch topic on. As far as gear goes, okay? All these Siths that are coming out now. Kylo
Kylo Ren.
Ren, okay? They all wear these masks. What is I mean, look, Vader wore a mask because he needed it to breathe,
live,
to sustain his
survive.
life.
Well, I think this guy's wearing it because he likes it, like the old trinkets, and he found some. Well, that's what I'm hearing. You know, I
Okay.
don't know. Like he found some old mask.
But is the mask just for
The
like
mystery?
fear factor?
Oh,
Is he using it to hide his identity, or does it have some kind of a usage? Does the mask? Let's say he goes to Dagobah, and the race that he is cannot breathe. The air is too light on Dagobah for him to breathe. Does the mask give him some kind of
I was
life-sustaining
thinking, like, maybe
ability?
it's some force thing. Like, oh, this is like was worn by some powerful force guy, and now it like has magical powers. I mean, that's kind of my wildest guess.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, the gear can take on all kind of forms and shapes.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Or is it just there for the fear factor? You know what I mean? Like I think originally Darth Maul did not his race. They have the horns on the top of their heads, but he got those red and black
that wasn't
tattoos.
that's not like
he's
original
not,
to the
they're
race.
not born like that. I don't think.
Mhm.
He got that, and that gives him that. You know, that fear factor, that scare, like, oh my God, look at this wacko. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't messing with him. You know?
Yeah. But then again, I guess like you can't even take anything as weird if you were in that world because it's just like weird.
It's,
Everything's
weird.
weird.
Again,
Yeah,
it's
like
so
everything.
far into the future in that world that it's like the norm over
Sure.
there. It's the norm.
And there's
It's the
weird
norm.
people
sure.
with elephant.
Tough guy,
Weird
yeah.
people with elephant.
Greedo.
dicks on
So
their
seeing
head
someone
and-
like Darth.
And they had like women's like shawls and I don't know what they were, but I was like I bought like two like $20 things that
See?
looked like they could be Jedi things.
You could totally. This is just regular fashion for men and women, but you could totally make some modern Jedi stuff off of this. You know,
Absolutely.
that's really cool. Demo Baza, look it up. I'm sure they're expensive, but it gives you ideas. I mean, stuff you could probably do yourself.
Yeah.
Try this again.
Yeah. Let me fix this thing again. All right, so we had a slight camera problem towards the end there. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. We were talking about Jedi everyday carry stuff, and we were saying how it's almost a shame that we don't have a Sith here to
Kale.
talk about what a Sith would carry, but maybe next time I'll just put a red blade in here and we'll talk about that. So yeah, do you guys have any last stuff to say that you want to talk about before we go? Because we're going to go get something to eat or do something.
Hash wanted to give some shout outs.
Yeah, I like to throw plugs out to our favorite Saber Smiths and Saber collaborators. We're all fans of Saber Forge, Ultra Sabers, two good companies, great for younger guys getting into it, starting out. Tim at the Custom Saber Shop is just amazing. I was saying to you that he can take a crayon drawing and bring that thing to life and make it real life lightsaber out of it. He does amazing work. Irv, Plector Labs, awesome stuff. And then I was asking you, you were telling us a little bit about your future venture.
Oh,
within the next few weeks.
Vader's Vault.
Vader's Vault.
I've been on and off Vader Vault's website, and I've seen a couple. We talked, I think, last episode on a couple sabers we liked from that company. But they recently came out with the Ardent, and I fell in love with this, and I'm going to be ordering it soon. I did talk to Deanna a couple days ago about ordering it and wait time and all that stuff. She had told me it's about an 8-week wait period because they it's made to order, so which is no problem for me. I don't mind. It's worth the wait. So I want to give a shout out to Vader's Vault, because I think they make awesome sabers also. So.
And what were some of the details you were getting on your saber?
They
So you
have.
get
We
the
were talking.
gold
They have the
trim?
one that's all black. They have one that comes with the copper accents. I'm particularly fond of. I like the one that has the gold accents. I like the powder coated black handle, and the gold button, the gold accent rings on top. The vents that thing has on the emitter is phenomenal.
I like that too.
If you go on
Like the
YouTube,
detailing.
yeah, if you go on Vader's Vault YouTube channel, you'll see they just did a video review on it, presenting it and introducing it to the world.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's what a combat class saber they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So what card is in that one?
What was that?
Crystal shard or?
Yeah,
I
Crystal
think
Shard.
it's the Crystal
Nice.
Shard.
Crystal
now.
Shard.
It's got 6
Crystal
sound
Shard.
fonts in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Comes with, it comes. I think it comes preloaded with 3, but it has room for 6 or something like that. So
Yeah.
can't wait for that. I'm gonna be definitely ordering that pretty soon.
Good
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Good stuff. I'm going to throw a plug out to Mad Cow, Rob, our Canada buddy. Great dude, great sound font maker, amazing saber maker, Genesis
Love his
Custom
stuff.
Sabers. Beautiful
Love
stuff.
the custom saber shop. Love Vader's Vault.
Yeah.
I guess like you'll be getting your Vader's Vault. Would it be like around Halloween? Is that kind of?
I'm
when-
hoping. I'm pushing for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
the 8 weeks, something like
Deanna
that.
told me that they do rush it if there's an event. You
Mhm.
need it this by a certain time for an event and stuff. At this point, I told her no. I don't mind waiting.
The event is you got Sith to kill.
Yeah, that's right. That's the most important event at all. I mean, there's Sith walking around out there. What are you talking about? An event?
I tell people all the time I'm carrying a saber. They're like, what do you carry a lightsaber for? I always say, you never know when you're going to meet a Sith. You never know.
Could you imagine you're walking in the mall and you're drawing all this attention because you have a saber, and then someone actually comes out with a Saber in the middle.
And you have no choice.
You have no
to do something.
choice but to duel in the middle of the mall. That's hilarious. It'll be classic. Epic.
Funny little story I'll throw out. A store just opened up about a block away from us. And it's a
yeah.
vapor shop.
The Vapor.
It's
called Darth Vapor.
Oh my god.
Okay? Yeah.
Some of those vapor guns look like lightsabers.
It looks like lightsabers. I have one that looks
smaller.
like it. Yeah. And actually, very funny. We were driving down the street, and they actually had a guy dressed up in a cheesy, like a kid kind of Darth Vader outfit. And I was driving down the street, and my wife was like, "You should jump out and just like start wanting to fight him with your lightsaber."
He's their mascot, and he stands out in front of the store.
And he brings people in.
From time
Is
to
it just
time.
because the store's new?
Yeah, it's new. Yeah, it's
like,
new.
do you think that Darth Vader is standing there because it's new, or he'll stand there for all time?
I haven't seen him recently. This was about a month or two
it's
ago.
Off and on.
Beginning of
It's
the
off
summer.
and on. He'll come out there. He's a pretty tall guy in a Darth Vader
big dude.
outfit.
That's pretty awesome.
And he's out there promoting the store.
It's a cheesy Vader suit, nothing fancy.
Like
a T-shirt with the box painted
And it's
on.
like one block from my house, like a block from his house.
Right in the middle between us.
We should just go out there one time and just...
Funny stuff. Take him on. Maybe come down and we'll like one day when he's out there.
We're gonna have to show him
video
the real Darth, like what we consider the real Darth Vader lightsaber. With
do a saber drive-by.
Right
on
blade.
Yeah, he's got a toy one, like one of the extending plastic Hasbro blades.
How it really is.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Funny stuff. I want to also throw a plug out there, and being as this episode's about Jedi gear and Jedi outfits, I bought lots of stuff from 219 Eileen or Ellen. I'm not sure what it is.
Eileen.
Eileen. She's on Etsy, ETSY, like an eBay site. She makes amazing Jedi, Sith, anything Star Wars, universe, realm, all custom made to order. You tell her what you like, she can make it to order. She's got stuff up that she'll customize for you as well. Great price, great quality product. And I think recently she changed her name to The Jedi Closet, all one word.
Specializing in Jedi.
Specializing in Jedi wear.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. She's really nice. She's based out of Florida.
Yeah.
Really nice person to deal with.
It's sometimes hard to find, good costume props.
Trustworthy.
Like that. Yeah.
Trustworthy. There's a lot of people ripping people off. I not to get into the dark stuff, but I don't know if you guys seen on the Facebook. There have been a couple people. I don't want to mention any names. A couple people lately have been taking money.
For Star Wars related?
For Star Wars related sabers work, whatever, and they get in above their head and they don't come up with the item. I think we spoke about that a little last episode. But do your research. Don't just jump in. Ask people in the know. Ask Anthony SpaceWindu. Ask myself. I'm Harris, Harris, Schlesinger, Schleisinger on Facebook. Jose Gabriel Munoz. I'll let you spell that.
Yeah, M-U-N-O-Z. Gabriel Munoz.
Munoz.
If you want to find me, let the Force guide you. But you can find me on Facebook and Harris.
I also just made a SpaceWindu Facebook page. I'm going to be updating.
Awesome.
Or right on here on YouTube.
Stuff like that.
Right
YouTube. You can ask questions on YouTube.
Yeah, and I would say anyone's interested in custom sabers, go to the Custom Saber Shop #1. They have a forum on there. You could learn all about their products, learn how to install all the stuff. Go to FX Saber forums, sign up there. That's Ryan Mosley. Go to the IRA, the Imperial Royal Arms, sign up there. I think all these things are free, so you can just be in the know about all the different
Tons of knowledge
happenings.
Tons of knowledge out there. Tons of knowledge, and you can sponge off of all of us. As you can see, I mean, this is our 4th episode. Each episode runs anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, and we still have
a lot to talk about. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to end.
Nah, as long as you guys are liking it, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, so leave something in the comments if you want to ask a question. Other than that, for now, we're going to go, and we're going to
light them up!
touch tips.